Welcome to month 2 of the Tech-led track at Bistec Hearts Academy. Last month covered the technical side of the role, system design, architecture decisions, code review practices. This month flips to the other half, the people side. Here's what most engineers underestimate when they become a tech lead. Your primary tool is no longer code. It's conversation, one-on-ones, feedback, performance reviews, career conversations. These become your daily work, and most engineers have never been trained to do any of them. Did we fix that? 4 hours, 4 topics. Hour 1 is one-on-one meeting mastery, structure, what to discuss and what to avoid. Hour 2 is feedback frameworks, how to give honest, useful feedback that people can actually act on. Hour 3 is performance management, writing reviews that are fair, specific, and helpful. Hour 4 is career development, having the conversations that actually move people forward. 5 skills for this session. Effective one first tailored to each person's needs, not one template for everyone. Feedback delivery using the SPI and radical candor frameworks, which make difficult conversations more structured and manageable. Performance reviews that are comprehensive and fair. Career development plans that are genuinely actionable. And handling difficult conversations professionally, even when the news is hard. These skills are the foundation of everything else you do as a tech lead. The 1-1 is the most important recurring event in your calendar. A 30-minute 1-1 has a simple structure that most tech leads don't follow consistently. 5 minutes for check-in. How is this person doing as a human being? Energy level, mood, anything outside work that might be affecting them. Don't skip this. It's the foundation of trust. 15 minutes for their agenda. This is their time. What do they want to discuss? Not your status update, not a sprint review. What's on their mind? If you're doing most of the talking in this section, something is wrong. 5 minutes for your topics. Brief, specific feedback. Context they need to know. Updates that matter directly to them. 5 minutes for action items. Clear, owned, dated next steps. Write them down and start every future 1-1 by reviewing them. The biggest mistake tech leads make is turning 1-1s into status updates. If you're only hearing about project progress, you've missed the entire point. Move project status to stand up and use the 1-1 for everything status updates can't cover. For this session's challenge, you're managing a team of 6 engineers, each with different performance levels and career needs. Alex is a high performer aiming to become a tech lead. Your 1-1 approach with Alex is about creating a credible path to that role. Jordan is developing, struggling with complex tasks and needing confidence. Your approach is about skill building and support. Sam is technically solid but coasting. Your challenge is to reignite their motivation without being preachy or making them defensive. Casey is a promising junior who needs guidance on building independence from pairing. Morgan is a high performer and collaborator. Your job is recognition and finding the next challenge that will stretch them. Riley is underperforming with personal issues affecting their work. This is the most delicate conversation in the set, and it requires a fundamentally different approach from the others. Each engineer requires a different approach. One-size-fits-all management is lazy management. SBI is your core toolkit for giving feedback. Situation, behavior, impact, plus a request. Situation, when and where did this occur? Be specific. Yesterday in the code review for the payment service, not sometimes or often. Behavior. What did you actually observe? Facts only, not interpretations, not character judgments. What did you see or hear? Impact. What was the effect? On the team, the project, the stakeholders, the quality of the code base. Request. What do you want them to do differently? Or if it's positive feedback, what do you want to see more of? Looking at the example for Sam, it's specific about the pattern observed, factual about the behavior, aims the impact on his growth and the team, and ends with a concrete, actionable request. That's the bar for feedback. SBI tells you how to structure feedback. Radical Candor tells you why to give it. The target is caring personally and challenging directly simultaneously. You give hard feedback because you genuinely care about the person's growth. This is the gold standard. The most common tech-led failure is ruinous empathy, the bottom left quadrant. You avoid hard truths to protect feelings. You tell someone, nice job, when the work wasn't good. You think you're being kind. You're not, you're failing them. They can't improve if they don't know what needs to change. The opposite failure is obnoxious aggression. Technically honest, but no relationship or care. People hear the criticism but not the care, so they become defensive. Manipulative insincerity at the bottom is politically safe platitudes that mean nothing. Good effort helps no one. The question to ask yourself before any feedback conversation: am I giving this feedback because I care about their success or to protect my own comfort? Riley is the hardest scenario in today's challenge, underperforming with personal issues affecting their work. Here's how to approach this conversation. Prepare with intent. What's your goal? Not to punish, not to threaten. Your goal is to understand what's happening and create a path back to performance. Lead with empathy. How are you doing, really, before anything else? If there are personal issues, you need that context before you can help. State the facts. Not you've been unreliable. The facts are: missed 3 sprint commitments, code quality below standard, 3 P2 bugs in delivered work. Ask before telling. What's going on from your perspective? You may not have the full picture. Agree on next steps. In Riley's case, reduced workload to 70% capacity, weekly check-ins, peer pairing with Morgan, EAP resources if useful, a clear checkpoint in 8 weeks. The rule is simple: never let a difficult conversation fester for weeks. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. Have it early, with care, and with a clear path forward. Performance reviews have 5 components: results, what they accomplished with specific examples and metrics; behaviors, how they worked; collaboration, communication, quality standards; growth, progress on goals set in the previous period with honesty about gaps; impact, effect on team and organization, not just individual output; future specific, measurable goals for the next period. The most common failure is recency bias. You remember the last 2 months vividly and forget the 8 months before. Fix this by maintaining a running document for each team member throughout the year, a brag document where you note achievements and incidents as they happen. When review time comes, the document writes itself. The second major failure is feedback surprises. Nothing in a performance review should be new information to the recipient. If someone is surprised by what's in their review, you failed to give them feedback in the moment when it happened. Reviews should confirm what they already know from your ongoing conversations. 6 feedback scenarios showing SPI applied across different situations. Jordan's security catch is pure positive reinforcement, specific situation, specific behavior, measurable impact, and a request to share the approach with the team. Notice it doesn't just say good job. It says exactly what was good and why it mattered. Sam's comfort zone scenario is constructive. Facts about task selection patterns over the quarter, impact on his growth and team benefit, and a specific request for one stretch project next quarter. Riley's performance conversation is the hardest. It states the facts without judgment, names the impact on the team, and immediately pivots to support with what's going on. Morgan's recognition scenario ends with a request to share collaborative practices more formally, turning a positive moment into a development opportunity. The pattern across all 6 scenarios: specific, factual, impactful, and actionable. Career conversations are fundamentally different from performance conversations. Different topic, different energy, different cadence. These 4 questions are your core toolkit for any career conversation. Where do they see themselves in 3 to 5 years? Not just the next promotion, but the bigger picture. What skills do they most want to develop in the next 12 months? What kinds of experiences or projects would stretch them the most? And how can you specifically help from your position? Looking at Alex's development plan. It's quarterly, it's specific, and it's a contract. Quarter 1 has concrete actions: lead a cross-team project, build relationships with the product team, shadow tech lead meetings. Quarter 4 ends with a formal role change and a 90-day plan. This is what a career plan looks like when it's real. Career conversations without a written plan are well-intentioned, but ultimately useless. The plan is what makes the conversation accountable. Before you can create a development plan, you need an honest gap analysis. What does this person have and what do they need for the next level? For Alex targeting tech-led, the technical skills are already at expert level. The real gaps are in stakeholder management and meeting facilitation skills that are rarely practiced before someone becomes a tech lead. These are the gaps that the development plan must address directly. For Jordan, targeting senior engineer, the social skills are strong. The gaps are in system design depth, independence in delivering features, and the ability to mentor others. These take time and deliberate practice. You can't rush them with a weekend course. Every action in a development plan should close a specific gap. If you can't explain which gap an action addresses, it shouldn't be in the plan. Here's the challenge for this session: 100 points across 4 deliverables, 3 hours to work, 25 points for 1 templates, a standard template plus customized approaches for each of the 6 engineers. Not 6 identical documents, but 6 tailored approaches that reflect each person's specific situation, goals, and challenges. 25 points for 2 complete performance reviews. Alex, a high performer, and Riley, the underperformer. Both need to be comprehensive, fair, and specific enough that you could hand them to the named individual. 25 points for 6 SBI feedback scenarios covering all 6 team members, a mix of positive, constructive, and difficult feedback. 25 points for career development plans for Alex and Jordan, with gap analysis, quarterly goals, and specific actions with clear owners and timelines. Passing score is 75. Exceptional is 90 and above. Mixing performance and career conversations is one of the most common tech lead mistakes. Performance conversations are about current delivery. Is the work meeting the bar for the role right now? This should be ongoing, in the moment, tied to specific recent events. If you're saving performance feedback for the quarterly review, you've already waited too long. Career conversations are about aspiration. Where does this person want to go and how can you help? Quarterly at minimum and held separately from performance reviews. Different mindset. This is about growth and possibility, not about gaps in current delivery. When you mix them, you get 2 bad outcomes. People either become defensive. They hear career ambition discussions as veiled performance criticism, or they become fixated on promotion timing regardless of readiness. Separate the cadences, and you get more honest, productive conversations in both. Not everyone on your team can be promoted this cycle. Headcount constraints, team structure, seniority balance. Sometimes the answer is no, even for deserving engineers. First, know the difference between not this cycle and not here. If someone is performing at the next level consistently, but there's no structural room for promotion, be honest about that distinction. Stringing someone along with vague timelines destroys trust faster than honest bad news. When promotion isn't possible, there are still real growth opportunities to offer. Expanded scope within the current role. Owning a domain, becoming the team expert in a technology. Visibility, representing the team in cross-functional meetings, presenting at department events. Mentoring responsibility. Giving someone like Alex ownership of cases development is a real leadership experience, not a consolation prize. The only conversation worth having is the honest one. Name the actual blocker, headcount, timing, structure. People can handle truth. What they cannot handle is months of ambiguity and false hope. The scoring guide is straightforward. Exceptional means your documents feel real. The performance reviews could be handed to the named individuals. The career plans are specific and realistic, and the feedback reads like a real human talking, not a template being filled in. For offline milestones before month 3, conduct 3 real one-offs using the templates you created today. Deliver 2 pieces of constructive feedback in real situations using the SBI framework. Have 1 genuine career conversation. Practice a difficult conversation through role play with a peer. Read radical candor cover to cover. And if you can arrange it, shadow a skip level meeting to see how your manager handles these conversations at the next level. 3 essential books. Radical Candor by Kim Scott is the single best resource on feedback culture and the only book you need to read before delivering your first hard feedback. The Manager's Path by Camille Fournier is the most practical engineering management guide available, written by an engineer who became a VP. For engineers in transition, High Output Management by Andy Grove is where the modern one was invented. The templates referenced in this session, 1-1 structure, performance review format, career plan template, and SPI feedback guide are all available in the challenge materials. Use them as starting points, not as fixed scripts. Here's the truth about tech leads that rarely gets said directly. When you were an engineer, your leverage was your code. You wrote something and it was in the product. As a tech lead, your leverage is the people around you. A team of 6 engineers who are growing, motivated, and giving honest feedback to each other is worth far more than any individual contribution you could make alone. One's feedback, performance reviews, career conversations. These aren't the soft stuff that sits separately from real work. They are the work. The better you get at them, the better your entire team performs. Month 3 continues with the operational side of tech leadership, planning, prioritization, and stakeholder management. Great work today.